Hi, and welcome everybody to our Meditation and Mindfulness course. My name is Skyla Ramirez, Holistic Care and Lifestyle Specialist. Today, before we get started, first make sure that you are comfortable. Now, if you are able to lie down, I do recommend lying down for this particular meditation. However, you are welcome also to stay seated. If you are seated in a chair, please put something underneath your feet if possible. We want the knees to be in alignment with the hip joints or maybe even a little higher. That way we're able to take compression out of the low back nerves. Let's get started, everyone. Let's first just notice the breath in your body. Notice, where is it? Let's draw our attention to what's going on with the inside of the body, allowing the breath to reveal to us where are those places most open to receive the breath. Now, naturally, anatomically, as we inhale, the breath is moving into the lungs. We may have a sense of the breath perhaps more easily moving into the lower left lung. Maybe it's under your right armpit, or maybe the breath is stuck somewhere in the body. Letting go of any judgment as to any space the breath chooses as good or bad, rather just drawing awareness to the body, to the breath, and that intimate relationship that we are able to observe with every inhale and every exhale. Where is the breath going? And now notice, where does the exhale come from? At what point, as we pause at the top of an inhale with the fullness of the breath, at what point do we notice the exhale, not just by the action, but by sensations in the body? Where does the exhale come from? And just like the inhalation, there's no judgment as to what space or what place releases that full breath. Let's take a minute just noticing the inhale and noticing the exhale. You can breathe in through your nose or your mouth. This is simply a mindfulness and awareness-based meditation for observation of the breath right now. Let's take a minute. Inhale, where is the breath going? Exhale, where does it come from? Let's take our time to shape the breath. And as we shape the breath, we may notice parts of the body that are resistant to receiving it. So we just lovingly allow the breath to move into these suggested spaces in any quantity. Let's think about inhaling, and maybe the breath is a little heavy. It moves down into the lower part of our lungs, and then it moves up to the middle lung, and then eventually up around the heart. And as we exhale, we relax the heart, then we relax the ribs, then we relax the belly. We're building the breath in the lungs from the bottom up, and then we are releasing the breath from the top down. We may even coach ourselves gently through the breath, inhaling belly, ribs, heart, exhaling heart, ribs, belly. Let's practice this full breath. Perhaps even noticing that the breath moves in all directions, not only in the belly, but to the side hips, not only in the ribs, but to the side waist, not only the heart, but also under the armpits. So maybe we practice this filling of the lungs with awareness along the sides of the body now. As we inhale, breathing down, the breath moves around the hips, side waist, armpits. Exhale, relax your armpits, side waist, and hips. Let's practice that full breath in the back of the body now, the backs of the lungs. If you're lying on the floor, you might notice a subtle bit of resistance as we are weight bearing with the spine into the earth. If you're seated, maybe lean forward just a little bit, taking some pressure off the back sides of the lungs. Now, as we inhale, the breath moves low into the belly and the low back, through the ribs and the middle back, to the heart, and into the space behind the heart, under the shoulder blades. As we relax the back of the lungs, relax the heart, middle back, and lower back. Inhaling again, low back, middle back, then back of the heart and shoulder blades. Exhale, shoulders, middle back, low back. With the lungs expanding 360 degrees, let's tune into a plane of expansion where the lungs move in towards the center of the chest or towards the center of the spine. So as we inhale, both lungs expand, moving closer together at the navel, rising up into the middle part of the body. The lungs move into the belly, and then into the upper chest. The lungs expand towards the center of the chest. Exhale, relax the heart, the belly, and the low back and hips. Inhaling, inflating to the inner spine, to the middle spine, up to the center of the chest. And then exhale from the midline down to the pelvic bone. Now noticing this intimate connection between the breath and parts of the body that can receive the breath, let's take a moment and acknowledge the observer, the one who is noticing the breath. And we remind ourselves here, I am not my body. I am not my breath. I am not my observations. We have 4 layers of awareness that ultimately can pull us out of a peaceful state. Body, breath, observations, and then the final layer is thoughts. Thoughts and emotions are in the same place. Let's separate ourselves just for a moment from our thoughts and emotions. In your mind, or perhaps just with a sense of awareness, feel as if you're taking out your brain and setting it down beside you for a moment, creating space between you and your thoughts. Place the brain in a soundproof box. Be sure you can still see your brain, and notice through the art of observation the space that you can make between you, your thoughts and emotions, observing thoughts and emotions from afar. Breathe and just watch that space. In this space, we breathe, we manifest. All things are possible when we can step away and see all the parts of ourself. I am not my body. I am not my breath. I am not my thoughts and emotions or observations. Who am I? This is the question of the sages for centuries. Who am I? Truly, we begin as the embodiment of unconditional love and bliss, Ananda, bliss. So as we open our minds and as we allow ourselves to have this space between us and our other layers of awareness, maybe for a moment we consider what else could there be to be aware of without the body, without the breath, without thoughts, emotions, or observations. What is there left to experience in the human form? Our studies in yoga and Buddhist meditations says it is bliss, the experience of bliss. It's not an emotion. It is not subjective to the environment, to our thoughts, to our bodies, to our breath and observations. This is a constant state of unconditional love and gratitude. Tune into the bliss with every breath. If any part of your body, your mind, parts of your breath and observations attempt to pull you out of this place of bliss, perhaps you just notice. Perhaps you say, ah, yes, I'm noticing a distraction. And then bring it back to that place where you simply are embracing being. No connection to the other states of awareness, just connected to your being. Let's breathe into the sensation of being, into the sensation of stillness. Breathe here for about the next 2 or 3 quiet minutes. Your consciousness and your awareness may ebb and flow. Keep bringing it to the breath. Keep bringing it to the stillness. And bring the awareness into the space that you've made between your sense of being and the other layers of awareness. Let's take a moment to reconcile the mind to the body, and the breath. Through the art of observation, again, notice the space between you and your brain, the mind holding all of the thoughts and emotions, putting the brain into the mind space, knowing that the space that we create between ourselves and our thoughts and emotions is completely abstract. We make that space with the mind. At any time, if we're feeling overwhelmed, triggered, anxious, we can always close our eyes and visualize taking out the mind and making that space to keep us centered. Notice the breath again and its intimate connection to your body. Breathe in through the nose and perhaps even pull the breath in, breathing in the same way that you would take in a breath in a room that is fragrant. Pulling the breath in with the inhale and then letting it go like a sigh. Let's practice 3 more of these, actively pulling the breath in, pause at the top of the breath, then let it go with a sigh. And when you're ready, simply be aware of your fingers and toes. Maybe wiggle the fingers and toes, and keeping the head relaxed. Maybe we just turn a little bit left and right with the head. As this concludes our meditation today, take your time continuing to introduce bits of movement and bigger breaths so that we can truly center ourselves in the moment, and then keep breathing as you move out into your day. Keep your perspective and continue to practice the art of awareness. Make that space so that you're able to stay grounded. I hope you have a fantastic day, everyone. Thank you for joining me today in our Time Out Tuesday as part of our Meditation and Mindfulness course. I look forward to seeing you again. Again, my name is Skyla Ramirez. I will see you all Thursday. Namaste.